Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Black, and my partner, Steffi Tucker, and I are going to talk to you about sketch to stretch. So, sketch to stretch is a skill set that enhances reading comprehension, and it's adaptable for K through 12. Students are guided in moving from strict retelling of stories towards abstract explorations of literacy themes. As they learn, there is no single correct meaning of a story. Students use color, line, shapes, or pictures to graphically represent what the story means to them. They sketch symbolically, focusing on overarching themes rather than creating representational illustrations. Students then share their sketches and the thinking behind them with their peers. The goal of this activity is to engage all students in the process of making meaning by connecting a text to their lived experiences. Additionally, teachers may use this strategy to explore their knowledge of students by probing both what students know and how they think. And now we're going to go to Steffi, and she could show us what this looks like in our actual classrooms. Steffi, take it away.
So the first part of this lesson is a read aloud. This is a reading comprehension strategy. However, it's not necessary that the students are reading themselves. Read alouds are a great way to accommodate all levels of students and all levels of English language ability in your class. So, for example, in our demonstration, one of our students is a student who's in a special day class, and his comprehension level is much higher than his reading ability on his own.
Aaron had said that he was up in the Catskills for Passover. That then it must also be near to Easter, and Matt would be coming soon. I had not counted notches in weeks. A cool shadow crossed my face, and I arose, whistled for Frightful to come to my hand, and wandered slowly home, stuffing my pockets with spring beauty bulbs as I went.
So he's not going to be living in Florida anymore?
Well, when he says home, what does he mean right now?
The tree.
The tree. It's still the tree.
So the second part of this lesson is to discuss the themes in the book, and to have that be a very student-centered discussion so that you're really trying to figure out what connections the students made to the text, what stood out for them, how they're bringing their background knowledge and their understanding of the world into their making of meaning when they're reading.
Have you guys ever felt like Sam in this story?
No.
Have you ever wanted to run away to the forest?
But I want to go to the forest and make hideouts.
You want to go in the forest and make hideouts? Have you ever done anything like that?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I make forts out of like sticks.
Uh-huh.
Like you lay them on a tree,
Uh-huh.
and then you cover it with duff,
Uh-huh.
and then makes it kind of camouflage.
Uh-huh. And where do you do that?
Redwood forest.
In the redwood forest? Yeah? Like in Henry Cowell?
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the ending of that, Stewie?
I didn't like how the mother just came and like make him so he's like she's making a house,
Uh-huh.
and he made that tree, which was really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and Henry, what do you think? How did you feel about the ending?
I feel the same way that I feel like I feel happy, wake up and meet my family again.
Yeah.
But like you just say, it's very unfair. He gets limited D, he needs to work really hard again.
Some of the big emotions that I heard you talk about were loneliness, and then at the end, pride, feeling proud. And then at the very end, he's feeling, you guys said, angry.
Then, before you start doing the sketches, it's really important to take a moment to connect those feelings and ideas to symbolic illustration.
If we were going to draw a color, use a color to describe
Red.
anger.
Red.
Okay,
Red.
you want to put some red on there, Stewie?
Why do you associate red with anger?
And sometimes the emojis that are angry are always red.
The emojis, yeah, those are symbols too. Emojis are red. What else? Why else do we put red with anger?
Because sometimes when you're angry, you feel like you could explode like a volcano. A volcano's a red zone.
Yeah.
Lava.
Yep. Sometimes when you're angry, you feel like you're gonna explode like a volcano, and those are red. Lava is red. Okay.
And mostly orange.
Or orange. So maybe there could be orange and black. Those are maybe other colors for anger. Orange and black.
Please do the same meaning.
Why would black be a good color for anger?
Because it's like
It's like darkness. Like if you feel angry, you gotta feel like you feel the darkness.
You feel darkness when you feel angry. I love that. Yeah, I feel kind of closed up, like no light can get in.
Yes.
Okay. What would be a shape that you would think? Fire. Okay. You want to draw fire?
I'm really good at drawing fire stuff.
The shape of fire. What about a line? Let me get the Sharpie.
How's that going to represent anger?
Well, like if you had a line and or something was just going along, like something was going along, how would you change that line to make it show anger?
Bumpy.
Bumpy. So like this. Spiky. So Henry's saying bumpy and then spiky. So these are symbols, right? It's a little bit different than what you were drawing before. When you were drawing, last time we were drawing, you were drawing,
Frightful.
You drew frightful. You drew like something from the story, and you drew it in a lot of detail, and that was really awesome. But it was like an illustration, right? Yeah. Like this is what frightful looks based on how she's described in the book. Stuart is drawing
Frightful.
He's drawing frightful. Okay, and Henry?
That's not frightful.
So you're getting frightful's head. Now I see her beak and her eye. And this is more like a picture you might make in your mind that's more helping you understand a deeper meaning. The author doesn't describe your feelings, right? No. But you had a reaction to the book. It made you feel some way, right? And it might make someone else feel differently. Like, what if Grandma Heaton read this book, right? And she saw that they were going to build a house in the wilderness at the end. What do you think she would say?
She would probably not say anything.
She'd probably be happy.
Why would she be happy?
Because she would think it's better for his behavior.
So who you are really affects how you feel about a story that you read, right?
Yeah.
Everybody interacts with the story and has a different feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the third part of this activity is to do the sketches. There are different ways that this is done. Some of the recommendations show that you should kind of let them draw on their own, and then they present that drawing to a small group. The Souto-Manning text recommended that, and that then the students could have their peers interpret their drawings, and then they could offer their own interpretations, like what they were going for in the drawing, and that would give the students an opportunity to see how reading is a transactional act, that it's not just one meaning that comes out of reading a book, but that different people can have different responses and make different meaning from literature. And they can make different meaning from their sketches. So they're connecting like, oh, they didn't see my sketch the way I saw it. Just like maybe I didn't see this book the way that they saw this book. So that's kind of opening up that idea to them that we don't have just one meaning for a book. there are multiple meanings based on who we are and what we bring to that story. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to be discussing as they're drawing, which is how I demonstrated it. And then the students are kind of bouncing ideas off each other. It's a little bit more iterative, so that maybe their drawings are evolving during the process of doing this sketch. They get ideas from each other, but also as they're talking through their ideas, their own sketches are evolving because they're kind of making meaning as they're sketching, which is what you want to be happening. They're stretching in that part, their understanding of the text.
I think I can make it go with it silk. I can make it so it's bound. You can be like, I can make it so bound.
So when you think of loneliness, what colors do you think of? Use those colors.
I
Okay?
would probably think of blue.
You probably think of blue. Why is that, Stewie?
Because when you're lonely, you're kind of sad. And blue is like
Blue.
And when you're sad, you cry. And when you cry, you have water. And water is blue, kind of. Isn't he lonely? Then why would he have a happy face? He's making a frown.
Oh,
Yeah, I kind of got confused.
That's a good observation, that usually when we're lonely, we don't have a happy face.
I kind of want to show a little bit of light coming through,
Uh-huh.
but it's kind of doesn't make sense because he'll feel sad and.
Oh, a little bit of light, giving him some hope. I like that's a cool idea.
No, I don't think I'd be sad. I'm not saying that.
Well, you bring up a good point, because sometimes the feelings or the ideas in a story, or how we react to a story, can be a little complicated, right? Maybe it's not just loneliness. Maybe it's loneliness with a little bit of light coming in, right? Like a little bit of hope.
Okay, so don't do that.
I think that you're. What I also.
Let's make a gap of light.
A crack of light. I love it.
Do we not put?
Not too much light, just a crack of light.
I love this.
Yeah.
The last part of this activity is when they share their sketches. And there's kind of three different parts. There's like sharing the sketch in a small group, and then having the group share select someone to share to the whole class. And then finally, in some recommendations, there would be revisions made to the sketch, and it would be submitted, or maybe it would be published and posted in the class. So in my demonstration, I'm just showing you sharing within the group as they're sketching, and then sharing like how you might do it if someone were in the author chair. But what was really interesting here is that in the process of sharing, their understanding of the book, the meaning that they were bringing to the book, evolved. And this is especially noticeable with Henry, who's the special needs student in the demonstration. So when he started sketching, initially he was only able to sketch representationally. Then after the brainstorm with the symbols, he was able to go to the symbolic level and bring that meaning in. And he sketched about one particular scene. But as he was sketching, he said at the end, "Can I make another sketch? I want to make one about different shades of his feeling and how he felt at the beginning," or he said how he felt at the end, and then how he felt as it went on. Henry often switches opposites, beginning and end, or like breakfast and dinner. It's part of his cognitive disability. So as he was describing this, and he made his sketch, and as he was describing it, articulating it to me, he was making meaning, and he understood that he had explained it in reverse. And he said, no, actually, that's him at the beginning. And he adjusted his drawing. We added some numbers to sequence, and we added an arrow, or I added those to help him understand kind of the directionality and the sequencing. But he realized himself in the process of speaking through his sketch, he made that connection that didn't make sense the way he was explaining it, that he had to adjust his explanation so that it matched his interpretation. So I think it's really important that you have that component of not just them drawing, but of them explaining their drawing, because that is also part of their making meaning of the text. And it allows them to hear themselves and say, is that what I meant to say? To get input from their peers that maybe also helps expand their understanding. But so that part's really important. Don't just skip over that part.
I have another idea how I could do with big though. I could make a big story of him becoming more dark and more dark, like he falling into a sadness and a grief.
He's really, really mad.
He's really mad. So, Stewie, you want to tell us about your drawing?
So it's basically him looking furious, and then fire next to him, and then he thinks of an angry face, and then the angry thinks of an angry face, and then the angry face that he was originally thinking of thinks of an angry face. That one thinks of an angry face and another angry face, and that angry face thinks of another angry face.